It's our usual, but we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to start with the Rocker Figure Skating Podcast news of the week. And we're talking about the week of August 18th. So we just wanted to spend a few minutes to just break down what happened over the last week because there was a lot that actually happened in I wouldn't call it off-season news anymore, but it is early season news. Let's start with Keegan Messing coming out of retirement. That was a surprise to a lot of people, but I would have to say, given that he was posting videos of himself doing quads during rehearsals in on Stars on Ice, it felt like there was something going on there, and it turns out he is going to be back for the Olympic season. What are your thoughts on that?
Get your cowboy hat, get your red flannel shirt, get your giant Canadian flag. I'm I don't know. I'm a little bit surprised, but like pleasantly surprised. I remember seeing him even back in the spring just skating outside in Alaska and this things he was doing on, you know, uncut ice. It was just like I just thought why is he not it doesn't take him that long to get ready, you know. He would
Yeah,
always just do kind of late preparations for events, and I'm glad he's doing it because I think that you know, there's more for him to give, and why not? He can make the team. So,
yeah.
why
It's like
not?
he never left, but he did leave, and part of the sentiment also, and this is not just with Keegan, but also for other skaters who came back just for the Olympic season, is there was a whole hullabaloo of actually qualifying spots for the Olympics, and so there's certainly that feeling of like, okay, well, maybe you should have gotten to qualified
Yeah.
spot. It is one of those things that where you can kind of see how it could ruffle some feathers
Yeah.
on some ends, but the Canadian guys have been so far early this season
Laying
have
it down.
shown that they are more prepared than they were before. So it's not a shoe in that Keegan makes the Olympic team. So if
Yeah.
anything, makes for more interesting figure skating competition over there. Second one, which was interesting, not interesting, but this one sort of hit me by surprise, and but also looking back, I was like, I should have known better, which is Jason Brown announcing that his short program is going to be River Dance,
Yeah.
and also like, is there any other kind of retirement announcement more obvious than going
Aw.
back to your most cherished, most beloved program, right? And reconfiguring it to another competitive program.
Yeah. It kind of it's like it warms your heart a little bit,
It
but it's
does.
also it's a little bit sad, but I'm excited to see him compete it. I
Yeah.
feel like we all knew that it was going to be done after this. It was kind of a surprise that he even continued after
Right.
Beijing, so
Right.
for him to keep going was a treat.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really special, and his step sequence already looks incredible. So,
I gotta say, thank goodness for that change in equipment last year, because if that didn't happen, I don't know if we would have
yeah.
seen him continue, because he was
Yeah.
pretty down
Yeah.
mid season on just his general like, am I even ready to compete? So
Yeah.
that's one thing, and I say I should have known better, because at the exhibition at Worlds, he brought back Riverdance, and we're like, oh yeah, it's Boston, and so whatever.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to think about it. Okay, well, he actually went back and like re-choreographed some parts of the program and
Yeah.
put it out there. So so yes, we should have known better.
Yeah.
Jason Brown Riverdance. That was the next one. A couple of other kind of interesting bits and pieces that were more like fun skating news. Andrew Torgashev launching some merch Amber
Yeah.
Glenn also launching some merch. There was a
Yeah.
lot of merch going on right now.
It's a good idea.
I
And
know.
it's creative and it's like a way for people to support them and for them to make money. And I feel
Agreed.
like why hasn't this happened sooner? I'm glad it's
Agreed.
finally happening now.
Yeah.
Happening now. But
Hey, agents, maybe you should think about doing more merch.
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Kristen Moore Towers and Liam Fierce expecting child.
Oh,
That was
congrats to them.
a little bit overshadowed, I think, by the Keegan retirement coming out of
Yeah.
retirement news. But
Yeah.
um, Kristen posted something on Instagram, and that was confirmed. So very happy for them, and excited for them to start their family.
See, I feel like it was the opposite because Keegan
Oh,
announced in the
interesting.
morning and Kirsten announced in the afternoon. And then it was kind of like she was stealing his thunder. We were all excited for
Interesting.
her.
Yeah, shows the different spheres of
Yeah.
social media you and I
Yeah, there
are
you go.
in sometimes. Vadim Klenesnik getting his citizenship,
Yay.
so
That
that
was,
adds some intrigue to the U.S. ice dance qualification for the Olympics, given that they are one of those teams on the bubble for the third spot. Um, he, as far as I know, has been apparently living in the U.S. for a number of years now,
yeah. I think
and
like 9+.
yeah, and so this. I think this was bubbling under. I don't think people were expecting this to be the case.
Well, I
But
think we knew it was going to be this year, but I think we thought it was going to be the fall. So
mm,
I think it was earlier than I expected. I mean, that we thought. So it's, yeah, exciting for him.
yeah,
Hopefully Christina Carrera is next.
we're
Just
still waiting on
get him
Christina
done.
Carrera. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Last but not least, and we'll talk. Maybe we'll talk about this, maybe we won't. But Rinka Watanabe landing a quad sow in practice
Yeah. For
and
her.
also trying it at the Tokyo Summer Competition. She bailed out of it in midair and actually just did a triple. But her free skate is packed, and also she landed both triple axels in the free skate at that competition. So it's she's certainly gunning for that spot for the Japanese ladies.
Yeah. I mean, if she can get it out, that's impressive. Just doing everything she can to, put herself out there because that field is so deep and there are so few spots.
I know. The most spots, but so few, so few.
I thought of Rinka a couple weeks ago. I went to the Reptile Expo here in Sacramento and they had isopods and they were small ones. They weren't the like giant one that she likes. And that was an interesting experience.
Rinka loves her dinosaurs. Yep, yep. Well, that was the news of the week for the week of August 18th. We'll keep doing this because, as we know, a lot of things happen during the week, and you may not actually have heard of them. And you know what? There's probably a lot more stuff that I didn't cover, but those are the things that we jotted down in our notes before the podcast started. So that was our news of the week. Let's get going with our third episode of the Rocker Skating Podcast. Welcome everyone to this is now week 3 of our live podcasts. Michelle, are you still in it with me? Are you like, this guy's crazy?
I am. I mean, so far so good. You're doing all the heavy lifting, so I'm just showing up and talking, and it's been great so far.
Well, heavy lifting, but also like, hey, we both have to heavy lift because we're
Yeah.
both watching lots of stuff and analyzing lots of stuff. Let's start with the Junior Grand Prix because that just started this past week, and that was our first Junior Grand Prix of the season in Latvia. There was some really interesting things that happened there. Just like looking at some of the skaters and the potential for the future. I mean, Rio Nakata is just like he
amazing. He has so much lift into his jumps.
Yeah.
And he has just so much attack when he competes. I'm really frustrated with the age rule. I mean, I think the change was made with good intentions,
Yep.
but now we have 2 really talented, high-profile Japanese skaters who would both be in contention for the Olympic team that aren't. And I think who would both be close to 17 or 17 by the time the games actually happened, but because of the July 1st thing,
Right.
won't be there. And Rio Nakata is one of them. Mao Shimada, obviously, being the other. Tried starting her like 12th season on the Junior Grand
I
Prix
know.
this year. Is it her fourth season?
It is her fourth season.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of frustrating.
It's heartbreaking.
They didn't have anything to do with the issues that led to the change, and they're
Yeah.
the ones paying the price.
Well, and it doesn't help because when they started skating and their coaches were, you know, making their plans for everything, right? Like the rules were different, and you push. A lot of skaters will push for the Olympics, and they will the coaches, especially for high performing novices and junior skaters, they're going to put together a plan such that you start peaking more toward the Olympics. And now we're talking about both of them not being able to get there. I mean, it's not unlike, but very much unlike, but is not unlike the sentiment that we felt with Mao Asada back in 2006 when she was not eligible to get to be in the senior ranks. And so there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of like, how does someone like a Mao Shimada, who has been doing these big jumps for a couple of years now, how does she continue to keep up, the technical content and not get injured and all of that sort of stuff? Because if you looked at Mao Asada's career, she was doing triple axels, quad sows like they were nothing. And then once she became senior, she really did need to work to keep some of those things, especially that triple axel, which was her baby, and some of those triples, which were on and off, right? Like they just were not as easy for her when she was as they were when she was a junior. So par for the course, I guess, at these days.
Yeah, it's challenging too. I'm sure we're going to have headlines this year about how Mao Shimada is on the junior ranks outscoring whoever wins the Olympics or
That's
wins
gonna be
Worlds. I
everywhere.
mean,
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
yeah,
So
that is going to be everywhere. So Junior Grand Prix in Latvia, the Riga Cup. It was, as we said, Rio Nakata winning by a pretty sizable margin, 25 points, not unexpectedly at all. May Okada winning on the women's side. Kemp and Elizarov, who has been on the junior scene from Canada, also winning by a pretty comfortable margin, 15 points. The junior pairs are always a bit of a crapshoot because you really do have a good general like revolving door of juniors coming. One, because sort of that you got your splits and all those types of things, but also the age differences with the partners are also a factor in whether or not they continue on the junior circuit. And so get to see some repeat names, right? Like a Williams and Lure and a Telemach Kulan, like those types. We're seeing a little bit more, as we're seeing with the other disciplines, of repeat customers, if you will, on the junior rank because of the age rules. And then ice dance, Veillon and Brandis from Canada going from second to first and just getting that gold. So your highlights from the Junior Grand Prix.
Well, on the dance side, Veillon and Brandis, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing those correctly, but they skated really well in the free dance. They really skated with, I think Mark Hanratty called it winner energy. They really delivered. They're a Scott Moyer team, and they train in IAM, Ontario, and they were very impressive. They've been together a really long time. I thought it was a very convincing win for them. I also enjoyed seeing Sherry Zhang in the women's event in her short program skating to East of Eden.
So good.
It was very Michelle Kwan vibes. It was a beautiful program, really nice way she hit the musical accents. Having a few little issues with her triple jumps, which I don't know what that is at the moment. Hopefully she can get that figured out. If she can, that program is going to hit at nationals. It's going to be magical.
I mean, you and I watched her at nationals last year, and she was a breakout, one of the breakout junior to seniors. And it is interesting to see how like the way she practices is a little bit different than the way that she competes.
Yes.
But she's got she's got star quality, and getting the right set of sort of consistency and mental toughness in there is going to help her a lot. You look at her component marks, and with all those mistakes, she was still amongst the top in the short program, and she did make a bit of a comeback in the free skate, but still not quite there, right? But I gotta say, the other American, Angela Shao, impressed by her as well on the components side. She's got some just like really good basics, and I think that she's another one to watch on from the American side.
Speaking of Michelle Kwan vibes,
Yes.
I was sort of surprised when May Okada opened her free skate with a triple loop. I haven't seen that in a while. She goes out and does triple loop, and
Yep.
then she did triple flip, triple toe.
Yeah, those of us who followed Michelle Kwan
Yeah.
have nightmares about triple loops, and also those of us who followed Yuna Kim had nightmares
Oh
about
God,
triple
yes.
loops. Uh,
I was at the final in Torino. I think it was like the last time she did it in competition, and she fell on it really badly in the free skate. And the way she fell, it was like, I don't know, like it was like a deer crumbling. It was just like, we never saw it again.
I know we never saw it
Blessedly.
again. It's fine.
Bye.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. Just give me another double axel. I gotta let me go back to Ryo Nakata, because he just, I feel like last year when he was sort of coming on to the scene, there was this feeling like, this kid could go somewhere. And he seems like he's very talented. He always had these sort of fluke programs where he made a whole bunch of mistakes. And I think toward the second half of the season, he started getting it together kind of as a whole package. And seeing him here doing a clean short, like almost setting a junior world record with that clean short. And then in the free doing a quad sow, a quad toe. The only error that he had was on a triple axel.
It was wild.
I mean,
Random.
I think just
Yeah.
great progress across the board. And I just feel like he now is starting everything with such swagger that I'm like, I feel like you are,
Yeah.
you know where you are now, you know what you're doing, and it's a good feeling, I think.
Yeah, the swagger is real. I
Yeah.
mean, you can just feel it in him coming into it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. What else? Anything else you want to talk about with the Junior Grand Prix?
I liked both of the French junior dance teams. I was really interested in both of them. I thought they both had really creative programs, and I was, pleased to see how well they scored. So, yeah. I also was really excited to see all the rhythm dances with the 90s music, and it was kind of an interesting selection people chose. There was a fair number of like expected, like Spice Girls,
Right.
Backstreet Boys, but we also got like Snap and Delight and Crystal Waters, and that was fun to watch.
This is going to be a whole new generation
Yeah.
knowing about Crystal Waters, because
Bless
you
up.
and I grew up on 100% pure love, and
Yeah.
it's good education for the youth.
It is.
I think so. Okay. The other actually, before we move on, the other thing I wanted to talk about was Yusong Kim, who had not a great short program. I mean, she's been on the Junior Grand Prix before, medaled on the Junior Grand Prix before, actually won one of the Junior Grand Prix in the past couple of seasons, and so you actually expected her to be someone to potentially not just medal, but potentially actually win this thing. And it didn't happen, but she did have a decent comeback in the free skate. She does have that triple axel, which helps, right? But the consistency wasn't there this week. Hopefully it'll come back later this season. All right. Let's get over to that skate to Milano, otherwise known as Chinese Nebelhorn. It is a very niche nickname that
Yeah.
we're giving it here. For those of you who have no idea what we are talking about, skate to Milano is going to be the qualifying competition for the remaining country spots. So not actual athlete spots, right? Not the skaters who will be qualifying, but the skaters will be there to qualify the remaining spots for their countries, which they hope will go to them if they qualify them.
Yeah.
And so this used to be for probably what the last
20
at
years.
least six
Yeah.
Olympic cycles. It used
Yeah.
to be Nebelhorn Trophy, and for those
And
of
it
you
would
who
be a
know,
combined competition. So
it's
there'd be
exactly
yeah, it's a real competition, and so other people can enter, and then there'd also be Olympic qualifiers in there.
right. And so the reason that they sort of extracted this out was that this is literally just Olympic qualifying. There's no other. It's not a challenger series. It's not something where like there are other forces who are coming in, right, to potentially kind of change the dynamic. This is literally every single skater who is going to be competing at this is looking for a spot for their country. And so, as some of you know, many of you probably know, there is a set number of spots that are allotted for each of the disciplines at the Olympics. So the men's and the women's get 29 spots each. Pairs get 19 spots, and the dance get 23 spots. And if you're still with me, the World Championships last year had qualified a number of those spots, and those were all determined mathematically. Don't ask me to explain it to you now because I had it all memorized about 6 months ago, and I don't remember it anymore. But I do. I think there is some recording of it on my Instagram at some point. So if you want to go there, go there. But you know what? If you have questions on that, let us know because I'm happy to explain it. But the remaining spots, right? So out of those spots that I just talked about, there were spots that were not allocated because of the rules. And so at this competition that's going to happen in Beijing, 5 men's spots, 5 women's spots, 3 pair spots, and 4 ice dance spots are still left for countries to qualify. And the countries that can qualify are a combination of one, the countries that didn't qualify any spots at all in any of in a certain discipline, right? So they're allowed to send one skater or one team to whatever that is to try to get the spot. But 2, the other complication is there were spots that were sort of asterisks, if you will. So the U.S., we'll talk about the U.S. pairs, right, for example, or the French men. They did enough to qualify 3 spots for the World Championships next year in for the U.S. pairs and for the French men. But because they only had 2 entries in the World Championships, the way that the rules worked is that that 3rd spot has to then be qualified at this competition. And that's to do a lot of things, right, to ensure sort of equity and in how the spots are given out. But it's also to prevent an incident like we had in 2018 where a country technically qualified a spot but couldn't get it because it was out of the originally allotted spots. And so the US pairs, if folks remember,
That was us.
originally qualified 2 spots, but they had to actually only have 1 spot because of how the rules worked. And the way that they rejiggered this whole thing was that kind of scenario would not happen anymore. So that's my long-winded explanation of the whole thing.
The change also helped make sure that everyone that is at the Olympics is a really high performing athlete. So you wouldn't have the case where you have someone who has a country that has, like, say, one standout skater and really no one else that is that competitive on the world level getting all to go to the Olympics. So you're going to make sure everybody really, it's like the very top echelon of athletes around the world.
Yeah, and it is tough because you only get so many spots at the Olympics, and it's been, I'm sure, a topic of much discussion within the federations trying to figure out what's going to happen here. So, okay, without further ado, let's talk about Chinese Nebelhorn, or
Yay.
Skate to Milano. Lots of interesting things happened because we saw the entries go in, and I will preface this with, these are not the final entries. These are the entries that the countries have put in as who is currently going there. But we know that there are countries that are still between the different skaters who's going to potentially go there, because part of it is obviously like, hey, we want whoever is trending the most positive as close as possible to actually get there. But also, it would be really awful if the skater who qualified a spot didn't end up getting the spot. And so I think there's a lot riding on this, right? And so we'll see what happens with all of that. But for me, the biggest surprise, and maybe not surprise because we talked about this last week, Sui and Han is not on the entries list.
Yeah. Well, they are alternates. So they're technically, their names are on there, but they are not at this moment the entry. It's Zhang and Huang who are set to compete. And I think they're a first-year senior team, I want to say. And I think they were the ones who were at Junior Worlds last year.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And considering there are only 3 pair spots up for grabs, they're leaving a little bit to chance. I would be horrible for them to not get one. And that be the end of Sui and Han's Olympic comeback.
I mean, I would imagine that, like, if Sui and Han are going to are going to try for the Olympics, like, they got to be the ones qualifying for this spot. It would be incredibly unfair.
Well, yeah. And if there's only 3 pair spots, presumably if another country has a withdrawal and the spots are given back, we can get to the alternate list. But just looking at this list, Karina Akhapova and Nikita Rachmanin from Armenia, they're a Russian pair. They trained with Fedor Klimov, and they were released to skate for Armenia. I believe Karina's got an Armenian family member, so she was able to get them citizenship. They're very strong. And I would expect Nagaoka and Moriguchi, a second Japanese team, are going to be strong competitors. And Audrey Shin and Balazs Naj from the U.S. are going to be strong. Not to mention like Valesi and Bidar from the Czech Republic, the Kovalevs from France. I mean, these are a lot of teams that have people in them with a lot of experience.
Yeah, exactly. And Taeyok Ryom back again.
Yes.
For North Korea.
Yeah.
Different
partner.
It is going to be a tough. We saw this from when we looked at this to begin with the 19 pairs, right? Like 16 of them got the spots, and it was going to be whoever was going to not get the spots at the World Championships. It was going to be quite the fight to end up with the spot there. I think Shin and Naj, for me, probably are still likely a TBD, right? As the spot for the pairs, because John Nix is coming up, the competition, and that's going to pit basically every single one of these pairs against each other. And I would imagine whoever comes out on top there is going to end up going to Beijing for the spots. Do we know if Daniil Parkman has citizenship?
He does not.
Yeah, I thought I thought not.
I'm not sure if he has a green card yet, but I knew that I think as of last year he didn't have a green card. So they're planning for 2030.
Right, exactly. So McBeath and Parkman Probably, I would imagine the U.S. won't send them unless they feel like they're the ones who are
Well,
going to actually really qualify the spot, right? Because they
yeah.
know they can't actually go to the Olympics.
Hmm.
But for me, likely a Shin and Naj versus Chan and Hao kind of
Yeah.
battle. Given Chan and Hao have had uh, quite a good history, right,
Hmm.
of actual international success
Hmm.
there. Um, let's go to the dance because
Hmm.
there were some intriguing things with dance
Yeah.
that happened this week, right? So currently 4 spots available for dance.
Hmm.
We were earlier in the week. We had heard about Yuka Orihara from Finland not getting her Finnish citizenship,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
and
She's
then
Japanese.
potentially releasing that spot right for
Hmm.
Finland because the third team in Finland also has that same issue.
Hmm.
But we heard that
Yeah.
maybe they're still trying.
Yeah, the Finnish Federation clarified. They're like, no, no, we're not giving the spot back yet. We're gonna have her do a language test. We're gonna see what we can do, see if like a special accommodation can be made. Who knows if that's really gonna come through? But I think that makes the first alternate spot really, really more important than usual. I mean, last Olympic cycle, first alternates were out of luck. They never got to go. But in this case, I think it's it's possible.
Yeah. And I will say, if you are a potential first alternate for the Olympics and you're listening to this podcast, stay prepared
Stay prepared. Yeah.
because we have had instances where the first alternate
Hmm.
and even more were called to compete at the Olympics and they were not training.
Hmm.
And I go back to the Michael Christian Martinez example
Hmm.
from Sochi. Was it Sochi? No,
No,
it was
Pyeongchang.
Pyeongchang.
Hmm.
And that he basically stopped training between
Hmm.
Nebelhorn and well, probably like early January when
Hmm.
he got the news and like had to basically, you know, get
Get in shape
himself
quick.
ready
Hmm.
really quickly, like
We
within a
watched him
month. Yeah.
getting his skating skills back on practice
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, first alternates, I beg of
Yeah.
you, please. Um, so there's the dance. I mean,
Well, I was
dance
interested
wise, right? Yeah, go
too.
ahead.
Yeah, Maria Kazakova,
Mm-hmm.
Georgian ice dancer. She had a ton of success on the junior level and competed on the senior level in Beijing with her previous partner, who then retired due to injury. She has a new partner, and I don't think that we really thought he was going to get released in time for this, but apparently he has. And so she is on the list for Georgia. And because Diana Davis and Gleb Smolkin were 10th at Worlds,
Yep.
Georgia is one of those asterisk countries in dance, and they could secure a second spot. I don't know if it'll happen, but
Yeah. I mean,
good on them for
we haven't
trying.
seen them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's TBD.
Yeah.
But,
And of course,
you
go
look
ahead.
down this list and, you've got
Hmm.
Harris Chan, you've got Wang and Liu, you've got Val Kasimov, Ignatieva Semko, the, Mani
Reed and Amber
Roethlisberger,
Levicius.
or
Hmm.
whoever might actually be the actual
Hmm.
Italian team that represents Italy
Yeah.
there. And I mean, yeah, as you said, Reed and Evelicious is gonna
Hmm.
they're gonna win this
They're going to
thing.
win. Yeah.
So lots of potential, right,
Hmm.
for actually a lot of intrigue for those 4 slash maybe
Hmm.
5 spots
Hmm.
that are still left to go.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Okay, what about the singles?
So we have the AIN athletes from Russia on the list. And I read Match TV is reporting that Russia is sending its alternates as well to Beijing. So they have everybody on site just in case, because they want to make sure they get their qualification for the Olympics. Yeah. But yeah, Adelia Petrosian is going to be competing her programs from last season. It's like a Michael Jackson short program. Yeah. I think it's a tango free skate.
Yeah. For those who are not familiar, AIN
Yeah.
is the neutral athletes, and there was basically what happened was the Olympic Committee and the ISU sort of put together this like we're going to allow for neutral athletes to come, and Belarus and Russia are in that kind of set of athletes. One entry for each of the disciplines was available, but you had to submit names beforehand to get cleared, and those names had to be vetted against a bunch of rules, which I'm not going to get into. And if the main name was not approved to compete, the alternate names don't even get looked at. And so what ended up happening was Russia sent, their four potential entries for each of the disciplines, and the pairs entry and the dance entry was denied. And so Russia will not have a pair or a dance team at the Olympics. So that really kind of, they won't have a pair or a dance team in this competition to try to qualify a spot for the Olympics. And so that actually really changed the dynamics of what we thought was going to happen at this competition, because that pairs, we were just talking about, that pairs 3 spots was going to be even more competitive with the potential of a Russian pair. Of course, now we have a Russian pair that became an Armenian pair, right? Like that's a different story.
Yeah.
But that changes things. So, but the Russia does have a potential spot to qualify for the men and for the women, right?
Yeah.
So for the men, Gumenik is going to be on there, and then for the women, it's going to be Petrosian.
We have some other high-profile names in the women's entries.
Yes.
Luna Hendricks and Anastasia Gubanova are both competing there.
Gubanova, of course, didn't get out of the short program at Worlds, which was just it was
shocking.
So shocking. And then she came back a couple weeks later and skated a clean free skate at World Team Trophy and was just like, what the heck? Why did I do this when I was there? And Luna Hendricks, of course, was injured all last season. This was Nina Nina Pinzarone. Getting that second asterisk spot for Belgium, and now Luna Hendricks has to go and qualify it. And so this is, kind of make your own destiny, right? This is her chance to get that spot for herself for the Olympics. And, we've seen some practice videos from her. She's looking generally very good. Hopefully the injuries will stay at bay. And, all goes well. It does look like it's probably, the Gubanova and Hendricks and Petrosian are likely going to be there.
Top 3.
And then you got 2 more spots, and a lot of things can happen.
I'm really hoping that Josephine Talligard shows up and
how
one down.
You know how much I like myself a Josephine Talligard program. Yeah. So I as well. And she was they just did Swedish test skates as well this past week, and she looked pretty good. Like probably more prepared early this season, not surprisingly given, you have to qualify for the Olympics. But looking pretty good.
I mean, I want to say the women's field isn't as deep as other disciplines. I think that she has a chance here. I think that Safonova has a chance. She's another neutral athlete, Victoria Safonova. She's from Belarus. I think we could see some surprises in the 4th and 5th spots.
I think that's the biggest thing about this one, because you've got a very clear top 3, likely. There's a lot of potential movement with that 4th or 5th spot, and that's gonna make for some intriguing skating viewing. Okay, for the men, we have the 5 spots, and you would think Gumenik is going to qualify one. And then you look down the list and you're like, okay, this could be a lot of people, right? Francois Pitot for France right now. We'll see what happens after French Masters, right? Whether he's going to end up being the one going. Tamir Cooperman for Israel, who you talked about last week or 2 weeks ago at Cranberry Cup. And, we just had another Israel men's skate off at Skate Detroit that was won by Marko Rudnitsky. So, who knows how that's going to change things up. Crowd favorite Donovan Carrillo. Everybody wants him at the Olympics for sure, given she's just, so fun to watch. So, you go down this list, and again, like, I think outside of Gumenik, I don't see a real, like, surefire, this person is going to definitely make it, because there's just, I think, a potential for so much movement. I mean, Manning became a verb for a reason.
Yeah. What do you think about the Korean men's selection? Do you think that'll stay the same, or
I
probably
think,
have 2 more competitions before that?
Yeah, for sure. I think probably, given Hang Yeon Kim has been sort of that second guy for a bit now. I just don't see the other guys being as consistent as him. So who knows? I mean, Korea is very well known for how rigorous their qualification procedures are. So we'll see where that ends up. But yeah, I mean, going down this list is going to be interesting. So 5 spots for the men, 5 spots for the women, 3 spots for the pairs, 4 spots, potentially 5 for the dance. And again, first alternates, please stay ready. We don't want to have another incident. Anything else about Chinese Nebelhorn? We will return to this when this happens later in the fall.
Yeah, it's going to be streaming, so we'll get to watch.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, all the action will be covered. So exciting.
Yeah. Well, they didn't stream the Olympic test event, so I was concerned they might not stream this. But they streamed. They're going to stream it. So we can watch.
Thank goodness. All right. Well, we're nearing the end of our 3rd episode here. I'm gonna end us with what are you obsessed about this week? What are you obsessed about, Michelle?
I want to say Sherry Zhang's spiral sequence. I don't know why. It just kind of got me. It was beautiful. That was probably my moment of the week in a short program.
In the short program, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to something we just talked about, Josephine Taillagard.
Yeah.
Celine Dion free skate. It's all coming back to me now.
Go.
I mean, we saw it from like some amateur camera in the stands, and I felt it. I don't know if you felt it. I felt it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great program. She's so known for just pouring her heart and soul out to these programs and the choreography, and let's hope she keeps her jumps going and gets herself to the Olympics, because and also that the Swedish Federation will let her go to the Olympics if she qualifies that. Like, there's all the Swedish Federation, lots of history behind that one. We'll see where that goes.
Let's make sure she gets the components she deserves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you can
I
say
know
all the things about, maybe that she's a little bit slow or whatnot, but like that's not all the components are about.
Yeah. No. One thing we didn't mention with the AIN entries is that they're not securing a spot for their country. They're securing their own spot. So everyone else at the Olympic qualifier, your country could send someone else.
Right.
But for those, that skater secures their spot, and if they can't go, then the alternate doesn't get to go. It's over. So speaking of staying healthy, those people need to be very careful.
Speaking of staying healthy and not doing crazy things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, we are nearing the end of this episode. Anything else you want to mention before we sign off?
Not really. Can't wait for more JGP.
I know. More Junior Grand Prix coming up this week. And I am sure plenty more news to happen.
YouTube pushed me to the edge with the ads on the JGP, and I signed up for YouTube Premium this week because I could not take it anymore. I'm just like, why is this happening? It was really bothering me during Cranberry Cup too because like they were playing. It was like the live feed in the middle of
Yep.
Isabeau's like step sequence. We go to an ad. It was
Well,
crazy.
it's better than what it used to be, which was it
Mm-hmm.
actually took you completely out of the video
Mm-hmm.
and went to an ad versus like this like sort of pop-up thing. It's still annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of YouTube, we are actually now going live on YouTube. If you are
Uh-oh.
listening to us from there, we will continue to make improvements and tweaks and everything to this podcast. We may come on video at some point, if I can convince Michelle.
We'll see.
And we're getting to the point where it's going to be in the middle of the night, and I'm just going to come to you live and talk about some random competition. Things are going to happen with the Rocker Skating Podcast
Mm-hmm.
that has never happened before, and I'm very excited for it.
Me too.
All right. Well, for Michelle Ellis, this is Jackie Wong, Chief Skate Nerd at rockerskating.com. And as always, I have to thank our editor and producer, Tara Wellman, Tara Nichols. I did that again, Tara Nichols. And we'll come back and see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.